Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, what a great crowd. What a great crowd we've already got. I know a lot of people are still coming in from the waiting room, so we'll wait a few minutes to let everybody come in. But welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Look at all these bright and shiny faces. I always love it when people turn their cameras on and they're ready to participate. Absolutely love that. We still got more people coming, so we'll be starting here in a minute. All right. Thank you all for being here. Yeah. Look at this great crowd. All right. We are going to keep you on time today. So we're going to go ahead and get started and have everybody join us as they come in. But thank you for joining us today. This is an event by Woman Explore, and we called this one Honky Tonk and Healthcare. We're definitely going to be talking about two completely different subjects that actually really go together. And this is with Kris George, who is the co owner of Next Step Insurance, and she's the creator of the ACA Academy. We also are featuring Brandon Elliott, the owner of Insure Boost, which is a multi-line insurance agency in South Carolina. And he's also the founder of the ACA Training Ground Facebook group that has over 6,000 members. What a great support you both provide to agents in the health insurance industry. We're so glad to feature both of you here today. So we've got a lot of people here. I would love to know who you know here. Did you come because you know Kris George? Did you come because you know Brandon Elliott? Do you maybe know me? I don't think many people know me here, but maybe there are a few. But maybe you came because you know other attendees that are here as well. Let us know who brought you to this event. Let us know why you came to this event. Did you come to support these amazing leaders? Did you come to learn because you're an agent and you want good information? Or did you come to connect with other people? And tell us also if you would rather be somewhere warmer right now learning about ACA insurance instead of my hands are cold, instead of freezing fingers, the only thing freezing would be the ice in your cocktail or your mocktail drink at the rooftop bar. That's what I want to know. Who do you know here? Why did you come? And would you rather be somewhere warmer learning about ACA insurance? All right. And I'm going to see some of the responses here in the chat because I always love reading. Ah, Linda knows. Linda, I know you. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So good to see you. One of our past retreat attendees. Yeah. We met in Milwaukee. I love that. Joseph's here because of Coach Kris. Gail, I know you too. Yes. Kris, and I know you as well, Gail. So welcome back. Linda knows you too because we all met at the same retreat as well. Danielle is here from ACA Training Ground, came to learn. Love that. Lisa, new agent, trying to figure out the ACA thing. Hey, we're going to try to cover it in this class here today, aren't we? Yeah, it's cold in Pennsylvania, 16 degrees. It's warmer there than it is, or it's colder there than Florida, definitely. Oklahoma, Christine's in Oklahoma, came from ACA Training Ground. Love that. Came to learn more about ACA. Absolutely. Thank you all for participating. We will encourage you to continue to do that as well throughout today. We're also going to have time for Q&A. So if we don't get to something that you want to hear about, please let us know in the chat. We're going to be monitoring that, and we'll make sure that your questions get to the top of the list. But just to let you know who I am, my name's Colleen Chesley. I'm a retreat strategist with Woman Explore, and I work independently for Woman Explore. I also run my own consulting business, and I'm the founder and director of a nonprofit that I've been leading for over 20 years. If you've never heard of Woman Explore, we are a global retreat company that handles absolutely everything. We do venue selection, we do insurance and liability coverage, we provide support for the attendees. We even provide marketing for small and large retreats. We represent over 8,000 venues across 100 different countries, and we guarantee profitability even for our first-time hosts. The demand for in-person experiential events is growing, not only with women, but across the board. And Woman Explore is transitioning. You'll see a different logo in my screen than the Woman Explore logo because we're transitioning to be called now the We Group, which has a new name and a new logo as well, because we want to be able to serve a co-ed audience of both hosts and attendees. And as a matter of fact, I just returned from Phoenix last week where I facilitated 2 retreats for C-suite executives. If you would like to learn more about hosting a retreat to showcase your expertise, to provide more opportunities for your client, or to stand out differently in a very noisy world, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, I mentioned that we're going to be interactive in today's session, so please let us know in the chat some different things. I asked you to let us know who you know here, like who invited you, what you might want to take away from today's session, and also would you rather be somewhere warmer and more comfortable to be learning about ACA insurance than wherever you are today? Because we're going to offer that opportunity as well. So we're excited. Feel free to drop in the chat your contact information as well. If you want to network with other people, feel free to drop your own information, but then also save the chat as well before you leave. We are recording this, as a matter of fact, right now, and we will be sharing the recording with our attendees afterwards, but we do not share the actual chat. So make sure to grab that chat if you'd like to before you leave. And now I'm excited to showcase a retreat host that we have seen not once, but this is our second time from this host. She hosted our first retreat with us in September in Milwaukee, and that's Kris George. At that retreat, Kris provided education and experiences that helped the attendees position themselves for a successful open enrollment season. She's now coming back and hosting a second retreat and bringing in a powerhouse leader with her, Brandon Elliott. And we're going to talk a lot more in detail about that in a minute. Today, we're also thrilled to bring in Brandon Elliott to today's presentation. And along with Kris, we're going to go behind the scenes of each of their agencies' growth. We're going to also talk about this past open enrollment season, and we're going to address any uncertainties that are out there in the current market. You're going to get a ton of guidance and valuable information from our guests today. And then after that, we're going to walk you through Kris and Brandon's in-person masterclass experience coming up in Nashville. And you want to stay till the very end because Kris is offering a special bonus for those people in this session today for her masterclass guests that you definitely don't want to miss. So I'm going to flip back to my camera here and take a look at the screen and see if y'all are excited. Are y'all excited to get started today? Yeah. So yeah, I know. And there's Kris. I love it. I love it that you're here. So good to see you. I'm going to do one little admin thing real quick. There you go. Sometimes I can talk and do things at the same time. Other times it does not work. So thank you for letting me pause there. All right. Now I have the absolute honor of introducing someone that not only is reshaping how we all think about ACA and agency leadership, but she's doing it with heart, strategy, and serious results. Kristina George is a powerhouse agency owner. She's an ACA educator and the founder of the ACA Academy. With over a decade of experience, she's helped countless agents and agency leaders build high-performing teams, scale with integrity, and create sustainable success in the health insurance space. Please also welcome Brandon Elliott, owner of InsureBoost, a multi-line insurance agency in South Carolina, and he's also the founder of the ACA Training Ground Facebook group with over 6,000 members. Many of you have mentioned the ACA Training Ground is the reason that you're here today. Brandon started writing ACA health insurance back in 2015, and he was a captive agent for just a few years, from 2016 to 2019. But during that time, he built up a book of business with over 1,100 clients. Then he and his wife, Charity, walked away from it all to start over as independent agents. Now he shares his collective knowledge and experience on how to get started and have success in this industry. Both Kris and Brandon are powerhouses on a mission to take agents beyond the hustle into leadership, purpose, and long-term impact. Please help me and welcome our honored guests, Kris George and Brandon Elliott. So happy to be here.
Introduction there. Woo!
Oh my gosh. Y'all are rock stars. Rock stars. Kristina, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
So glad to see you.
Yes. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Had a client on the phone, very concerned about mom in the hospital, trying to figure out how Medicare works. And of course, as most of you know, I'm Coach Kris, the ACA person, so I had to tell her she has to call tomorrow. But she just needed to talk to somebody, talk down that it's going to be okay. Her mom will be all right. So, but yeah, I'm due. I'm good. I'm excited. Open enrollment is done. Thank goodness, right? 2 days left for January, and whew, shake up some of that stuff. I'm going to be in Boston for 4 days to just not brain think nothing with work for a couple of days because I think we all need it. If you haven't done it yet, you need to. You need to just unplug, put your phone on airplane mode, not turn on the laptop, just be a vegetable for a couple of days, if not a week, to get over what happened with the open enrollment this year. It was rough.
Yeah. Let's start there because that was going to be my opening question was how was open enrollment? I know for me as a consumer, I've got a much different perspective. So share your experience with how this open enrollment was. And I'm going to ask the same thing of Brandon as well.
It was rough. I've been doing this since the beginning. I was at the first open enrollment in 2014, and oh, man, this one was rough. Partly because the government's still dinking around trying to figure out what they may or may not do, and there's false information out there, and there's teasers, and your clients are calling, and I'm going to wait till December 31st to make up my mind in case Congress changes their mind. And I had a carrier leave my area, 1,200 applications with that one carrier that we had to move into a new one. I mean, it's been a rough one, and CMS is doing what CMS does. Who knows what CMS is going to do next year? So it was rough and trying to still take care of our clients, and had to rethink during this open enrollment a completely different way of structuring my company that I had not thought about. I've owned the agency now for 6 years, and I want to completely change the way it is so that I don't have burnout for the ACA agents. But I will say this, and I know Brandon agrees, and if you are thinking, "Oh, I might get out of the ACA," this is the best time to get in the ACA. Because if you're confused, think how much more your consumers are confused. They need guidance more than ever. And there's carries that I've seen agents on ACA Training Ground. I've seen them on others going, "I'm out. I think I'm just going to focus on Medicare." Okay, you can, or you can go, "I'm going to jump in because if I'm the expert and these people are leaving, you're going to have more business than you know what to do with, and you're going to have to grow and hire support staff and do all that kind of stuff." What about you, Brandon?
I've actually done well doing the opposite of what the rest of the crowd is doing. Sticking with it when things get hard, it's like that's when the referrals start coming in because everybody, their friends or coworkers, insurance agents are referring me people because either they can't access the carrier contract or they can't write in that state or or I do complex situations all the time, and I walk agents through how to help their clients through complex situations and how to actually do it. And so ACA seems pretty simple on the surface, but there's a lot of nuance to it. It can go pretty deep as far as how the back end of the applications work and eligibility and the way the government words questions versus how it really impacts
What they really
consumers
mean?
in real life. So this open enrollment I feel like I'm not out of it yet. This is now the new phase where I don't really do business in states that are still going for 2 more days. So it's technically over in the states I do business in, but this is the time frame where people who I could not get a hold of, all open enrollment, no matter how many times I reached out to them, they're now asking, "Oh, why'd my bill go up so much?" And it's now an opportunity to try to get them back so it doesn't just permanently fall off the books. It's all right, let's see if we can get you back on the books and starting 2/1 pretty soon, starting 3/1, because we can still keep writing business. The door has not been shut to just keep writing business. So we haven't just stopped helping people. We're still writing business.
Which is something, gonna put a plug for our academy. We're gonna tell you We slow down to normal hours, 40 hours a week. That's what we slow down to.
Yep.
It's not breaks are done, open enrollment's done, twiddling my thumbs, I don't know what to do. We don't slow down. I'm trying to find one day on my agents' calendars to take them all out to kind of a late lunch dinner, and we're looking at March because it's so full. So you can it's not a only open enrollment season type of
Right
industry.
now, right now, people are asking for their 1095s. Again, another opportunity to get clients back because you helped them last year. Maybe you haven't helped them yet for 2026, and they're just now realizing they got auto pay billed for like $1,000, and you can step in and help. It's a pain sometimes, but it all affects your bottom line if you're losing tons of clients. So all of these are sales opportunities to get clients back. The sending them the 1095A forms, help people want their ID cards. Right now, we're finishing up everybody needing to make their payments for their January 1st binder payment. But you just got to think of from an optimistic lens. It's too easy to get pessimistic in this with all the changes. The only way I've survived as long is being optimistic, and finding the silver lining, and what can we do with the current situation.
Yep.
I love that you mentioned that, Brandon. And I love, Kris, that you talked about the struggle it is. I mean, it's real. You were on an emergency call with somebody because they were terrified of what's going to happen with their mother, with, potential care. These are real concerns that all of us as humans have for other people. And our health insurance is so important in that process. So, how do you guide other agents and agencies to deal with the uncertainties that we're seeing right now?
You want to go, Brandon?
So I have a lot of downline agents and agency partners, and I unfortunately had some that decided to wait until after AP was over because they were thinking the government was going to make a decision on something, and they were going to try to cram everybody in, last couple of weeks of open enrollment kind of thing. That was an unfortunate decision, but you just got to keep going with the information you have today. And if new information comes our way tomorrow, we pivot hard sometimes in this business. And it's like you might be going down a certain track, and you come to the realization this isn't going to work, and you pivot, and you do something different, a different approach. But yeah, you just got to keep going with the information you have right now and do the best you can to help clients today.
I also don't have all your eggs in one basket. It can't just be ACA. It can't even be just Medicare anymore, right? Medicare commissions are threatened. Part D, you can't get paid. You need to have multiple baskets, right? So, I mean, one of the things that we're working on in our office, because we've grown so much, I mean, ACA and Medicare just it's growing. I'm like, okay, we need to diversify. So we have 2 people that are long-term care certified. We have somebody who's going to be specializing in life insurance. We have 6,000 clients that we have access to do other services for them. So if you put all your eggs in one basket, it's not going to be good. But you also have to be an expert in your field. So I love ACA. I know it. I'm the expert in ACA. But I don't sell the life because I like it. I could deep dive into life and life for investment purposes and all universal index annuity, like all that stuff. But instead of taking me away from what I'm excellent at, I'm hiring somebody who's excellent at that. So you don't necessarily have to diversify yourself so much as if you are busy with what you have, don't stop doing that because that's just, counterintuitive. But start going, what else can I get? Where else can I bring business in with who I already have? I mean, if your book was done tomorrow and you had a group of 300 people, what else could you get them? Because they've shown when it comes to insurance agents, whether it's P&C or health, the more products your client has, they will also stay with you because you're protecting them. No, you can't just be selling them because you're just trying to make money. It's got to be to protect them. It has to make sense. I'm all about layering to protect them, and layering to protect them under 65 makes it easier to layer them when they turn 65. Oh, now you have an advantage plan. We're putting a hospital indemnity. They already know what that means. So diversify. Even if it's in your book, don't just sell ACA. Sell dental and vision. Sell accident. Sell critical illness. Learn the alternatives. There are alternative options out there for those who can't afford the ACA. There's some options that are better than others. But if you don't know what those are, you can't really help. So learn them. You may even learn them and go, well, I'm never selling this. Okay, then you can at least say that to somebody. Yep, I've researched that. So diversify your book. And it can be a diversification in your own with what you already have.
And I'm guilty of focusing on like just ACA for too long. And we've started diversifying this last year, and we brought on life insurance. I've had a PNC license for a while. I just haven't used it. So it's like you hire people, sometimes they don't work out, and you get to where you find like a really good person who they know what they're doing, they have an expertise in their field, and you can trust them to run with it. And finding those employees are valuable. So I have a great admin person, I have a great sales agent. Had to go through 4 sales agents to find one really good one. And so it's like, and they all had pros and cons, weaknesses, strengths. Some were great at selling, but didn't care so much for compliance. And that's a problem. They're great. Maybe you're great at life, but just could not grasp ACA. And that's like the main thing we do. So they were costing us business. Like we were losing clients that had been with us for years, like loyal clients, and they just botched it so bad. Like, you try to give people a chance to learn from their mistakes, to mentor them, help them improve. But yeah, but finding the core people to surround yourself who are good at what they do, but also passionate about what they do. They like doing what they're doing, and they have goals, and they want to pursue certain things. So I have someone in my office who has a real interest in Medicaid. I mean, we don't really get paid for Medicaid, but we've been getting all of our Medicare contracts, and we know that there's going to be dual eligibles. And I have another agent in my office who is a Medicare experienced person. So Medicare is definitely an area we're expanding into here soon. It's amazing we hadn't done it sooner. But they come with auto insurance background, a little bit of PNC experience too. So we have some options, and we got all these clients that already know us, already work with us. Some of them have been with us for many years. It's not that hard to like, hey, we've helped you with this. You like us. You trust us. We have this new solution that we can help you with. So again, not putting all your eggs in one basket, and just making yourself more valuable to your clients.
And I don't know how many people have met Brandon in person, but I'm sure he's guilty of this as well as me, that I tend to give people lots of opportunities because I'm a person and I care and I know what it's like. But now as a business owner, I have to stop. I need to hire slow and I need to fire quick. I have to. There are people that have been that were around too long and it caused problems. When your gut's going, this is just not going to work out. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be cruel. We now have a game plan. Anybody we let go, we give them, we have a severance package for them. I am not going to fight them on unemployment unless it's something grotesquely, that they've done. But if they're just not a good fit, I'm not going to fight them. I'm not trying to take away their income. So if you were thinking about hiring, hire slow. You'd rather hire the right person. Every time we've been in a hurry to hire somebody and we just hire whoever showed up because we were desperate, it hasn't really worked out. So go slow. If they can't handle you having 2 interviews with them and they're like, they want to answer immediately, that may not be the person for you. But when just let them go. It's better to have
So
people in your office that you want to be with.
establishing a culture that you want, an environment. I right now, as far as W-2 salary, I only hire in-person staff who are physically coming to my building, and I can oversee what they're doing all day. I can give them things to do. I know what they're doing. I have tried to hire remote people in the past and like even virtual assistants. And they if you don't give them something to do, they're just running down the clock. Not being proactive, not asking, "Hey, I don't have something to." They won't even let you know they don't have anything to do. They'll just let the clock run down and you're paying an hourly wage, to this person and they're probably doing another job because they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, so they're getting two paychecks for the same hours they're working. I've been through all that. Part of this is a big old learning experience, and you just try not to repeat the same mistakes. And got to give yourself a little bit of grace too, because you've never done this before, and you're learning as you go. And I've recently also had to learn. I gave somebody 3 months when I should have probably seen they weren't going to work out after 30 days, but it was open enrollment, and I'm like, it's all hands on deck. Like, I'll just keep them on, just to answer the phones, and it's less calls I have to take personally, and it was
I
rough.
would avoid hiring right before open enrollment if you can.
Yeah, I learned that recently.
I've had to do it so many years, and then you're kind of stuck with that person because you don't have time to do anything. So I would say if you currently don't have anybody as staff, probably the first thing you should hire is not another agent. You need to hire a support staff who's going to handle your calls, set up your appointments, go through your emails. That's what you want. You're not hiring them they're not bringing in income. They're clearing your plate so you can keep bringing the income in. So if if you're hiring one person, that's really who you should be hiring because you just want to use you. You don't want to try and train somebody else to be a duplicate of you while you're still doing all of the busy work.
Yes, support staff, admin support absolutely is the first hire.
Yep.
Let someone else take off all the activities off your plate that's not making you any money so you can keep doing what does make you money.
Right. Answering phone calls and making appointments is not making you money. You want to be so busy doing appointments that you don't have time to take the phone calls.
I don't answer my phone.
Nope.
I have a live answering service, so it doesn't matter. 24/7, somebody's always answering the phone. They are leaving a message or scheduling an appointment for the next day. But yep, we have regular business hours, especially now that we're outside of OEP. Regular
good.
business hours. People schedule appointments. We send them a consent form to sign ahead of time.
Yep.
These things that just have to be done, we try to automate as much as possible. And I have W-2 agents now, and we operate in states that don't allow NPN overrides now. So that has been a learning experience for us as well, because although this experienced agent I hired in the middle of open enrollment, fortunately, they really knew what they were doing. So they were just able to plug in and use our system, teachable, coachable, willing to do it our way. That's all important. They are appointed with the carriers, just not contracted with me. So they can't write the business themselves. Like, they can't write it under their own NPN. And so we've had to develop a whole new system of how are the calls and the apps getting done, and then doing the actual submitting the enrollment, making sure the consent forms, include both them and me. I know Kristina just does a blanket, like, we're covering our whole business.
And I know somebody asked how much do you pay support staff? You got to look and see what is in your area. You can do a ChatGPT search. Speak to me as an HR expert, search within my county, what is the medium range of a support staff person? You cannot go less than that. You're not going to get anybody qualified. And then I'm going to tell you right now, if you find somebody good, pay them to stay.
I just gave my people raises.
Absolutely pay them to stay. I know a gentleman who was self-employed, and he had a managed person who answered the phone, did his calendar, and kept him running. And she was working hard and wanted more money, and he said no. She left. He's never been able to find anyone else, and his business is a disaster because he can't manage himself. So don't, when you find a good receptionist, I don't care if you're paying that receptionist $50 an hour. Your receptionist is the first contact. That's that first connection. So find support. I'm not saying pay $50 an hour to start with. Okay, I'm not saying that. But you have to be doing the minimum that's in that area for that space. And then what are you going to bring that's different than a big company? Okay, you're not going to be, I'm paying 100% for your health insurance. You don't have that yet. I'm not going to give you a 401k yet. Maybe you will later. So what are you going to give them? What is it, the culture that's going to make them go, okay, I care? We give them Fridays off in the summertime if they work open enrollment. Now, if I hire somebody in May, they don't get Fridays off in the summertime because they didn't go through open enrollment. They get to be the Friday person. So it's just, June, July, August, they work really hard Monday through Thursday. They have Fridays off, and I pay for Friday. So they're not losing any pay. That's just something I can do that shows my appreciation without breaking the bank. So think about that. What are you going to give that is going to be different? But don't let yourself be walked over. It's easy, to let that go. You have to be a business owner. You got to put a business owner hat on and then be caring.
It's easier to increase what you're giving someone. It's easier to give someone a raise. It's easier to add benefits later than it is to give way too much, and then you find you just can't sustain it, and then you just have to start stripping away things that you promised your people, and just to stay afloat. Like, you don't want to put yourself in that position. So I did not offer benefits the first year as I was hiring people for the first time and just figuring things out. If someone's been with me for a full year, then I'm a little more generous to those people. They've now been through 2 open enrollments, and they've really shown themselves hard workers and that they're here for the company, and that goes a long way. Did we cover how to start your agency?
Before that, I just want to say, Linda, do you pay people salary or commission? Commission only. I will tell you right now, commission only is not going to work if you're hiring them to work for you. Downlines, that's a different thing, but commission only means I'm just handing you a phone book and you're just dialing leads. People can't do that. That type of industry doesn't really exist much anymore. Not saying it's impossible. And salary, I don't pay anybody salary to start with. They're all hourly. I personally pay them an hourly wage, and then they get 50% commission on ancillary products. But I don't pay them commission on the ACA and Medicare. That's their job. That's what the salary is. I'm not splitting that commission. I'm not splitting my $15. Woo! With right? So no, not a salary. Now they can maybe end up earning a salary. You can get to that point, but I want them. I'm all about ancillary products and covering that, so they get paid on that. They do get a commission on that, and that has helped kind of drive that. Oh, I'm seeing the value of it. So I don't know about you, Brandon, but I don't think you do commission only either, right?
No, for staff who come in person to my office,
Yeah.
they're getting an hourly wage, that is not low, but I'm not paying like the top either. So it's just middle of the range. The people who work for me is because they like what they do and they like the culture. They like just what we bring to the table, that the mission and the mission that we have overall, we're trying to do in the whole industry and just help people. I have someone that commutes an hour to work, and they decided to work for somebody else like 2 weeks before I gave them the job offer. And it was just a company that was just telling them to not be compliant. They were they were just not doing things the right way, and this was a person of integrity, and they're like, I can't be the one that gets sacrificed because I'm doing the apps. I lose my license because I'm the one doing the applications, because I'm being told the wrong way to do things, and so they were happy when I called them for the job. But nope, don't do commission only. I was doing a bonus for a time on ACA Business. I stopped doing that because sales agents that you hire to be W-2, sometimes they find ways to try to get paid 3 times on the same client, to earn that bonus 3 times. And that client falls off, they sign them back up with a different carrier. And so it's like, you sometimes don't catch these things until months later, and you're going through your accounting system, and then you get better at double checking everything.
I will also, just so you know, for those who haven't started, there are rules. When you become a business owner, get a business coach. I don't care what it costs. If you're going to run a business, you're good at insurance. You're not good at business. Get a business coach. Just do it. Because I really wish we had talked with our business coach a little bit more. There's lots of rules. The department of, that rules this is not our wheelhouse. We know CMS. So 1099s, if you want to hire somebody as a 1099, you can, but the rules for 1099 is you can't tell them what to do.
Or when to do
You can't
it.
tell them when to do it. You can't tell them where to be. I have a 1099 client right now, or a 1099 person who works for me contract, and I go, could you do this? And she just does it when she gets to it. Now, right now she's doing well, but I can't dictate her hours. I can't dictate any of that stuff. There are pros for a 1099 person, but you really need to understand the Department of Labor. So get a business coach before you do that. And when you're thinking about how do I pay this, you have to start putting money away to plan, because you are going to have to steal from yourself to pay this person for a little bit. But when you go, well, how many hours a day are you spending answering the phone? How many hours a day are you doing emails? If you could wave a magic wand and your phone calls and emails were magically not handled by you, how much more time would you have to actually get business? If that happened and you're like, I don't even know what I'd be doing, I'd be twiddling my thumbs, well, then maybe it's not time to get somebody. But if you're like, oh, I could go network here, I could go coordinate with financial advisors, I'd have more time. I could do 5 appointments a day instead of 3 appointments a day because I'm spending all these hours. Then that's when it's worth it, because it's going to pay off. Yes, you might have to save some. Maybe you have to get a small business loan to have that first initial, because it's not like you pay somebody $35,000. They don't show up and you're like, here's $35,000. You're paying them by the hour. So you don't necessarily have to have the whole $35,000 sitting there ready to pay somebody. You have to have enough to probably pay a month, because it might take you a month. You got to train them. You got to figure out how to do this. But if they could take that off of your plate so you could bring in more business, that's when you're okay. Yep. If I can keep 2 hours out of my day, I can be making more money. It's going to be worth it. Because right now, take how much you get paid, and you're paying yourself $50 an hour to do admin work. Well, that's not good math. So you might have to take a little pay decrease to start with. I mean, I did when I went from my solo person to an agency. I did. I'm like, I'm making less than I was. And it did take, I'm not saying I was broke, but it took a couple of years before I was like, oh, I gave my staff raises before I got a raise. But I had enough to survive. I could do it. And now, because we've gotten so busy and it's grown, it's now been worth it.
It's such. Oh, go ahead, Brandon, jump on in.
Well, I waited probably too long to hire help. Just trying to do it all myself because, you're just trying to save money. But in reality, if you think about it, yeah, when you get to a point when you're spending all day doing admin work, all day answering emails and phone calls to then schedule appointments, or phone calls 3/4 of my calls are probably spam calls and telemarketers anyway, and then it interrupts your thought of what you were working on, and then it takes you a few minutes to get back in the train of thought, and so I freed up so much of my time when I gradually implemented things like a live answering service. All my calls were answered, and I didn't have to answer them anymore, and it wasn't even a large monthly expense because I'm not personally paying someone to answer calls 24/7. And then but you scale, not all at once, gradually, as you see you need the most help in this area. And I didn't go into debt trying to scale. Now, opening a brick and mortar building, sure, that costs a lot of money. Couldn't even
Welcome to my world, Brandon.
the
Welcome to
city
my
wouldn't
world.
even let me open my doors to the public until I got 3 inspections from the city. The fire marshal was the last one. He wouldn't come until all the furniture, everything was in place because he needed to see all the walkways, were wide enough for wheelchairs, and so like it took like 3 months of me having a building before I was even allowed to open. Uh,
I do
so
not recommend owning your own building. Don't go there unless you already do. But I like brick and mortar because I meet my people in person. But I also know I have an agent. She has a big house and she has her support staff works at her house. They have a spot. They go there.
That's how I started.
Yep.
When I hired my first person, my first admin support, I had a room in the house that was our home office. It was big enough for multiple desks, and my wife and I were both working in the business, and then our admins, so 3 people working in one room, and probably had room for a fourth, but we decided to get a actual space to move to.
So Linda, that's you to start with. You hire somebody to answer your phones and answer your emails. Next step is, okay, how much do the premiums prescriptions? If you have done customer service of your own clients, you know eventually 95% of those calls are the same call, right? So you have that. I loved having our receptionist could hear me and I could hear the receptionist. And she'd go, oh, I don't know. When is the monthly premium due? And I'd be like, the 25th of the month. And she'd go, oh, the 25th. Then the next time somebody calls, she goes, oh, it's due the 25th. That's partly why I like having in person because you can train them. And if you have a good receptionist, pretty soon they're answering some of the really simple customer service calls. Once the customer service calls are overwhelming and you are in all these appointments, guess what time it is to get a client service? All right, Colleen, what was our next topic?
Yes, because I could
We're
sit
like
here and
15
listen.
minutes left.
I know. I could listen to both of you all day, and I bet everyone here could still flood the chat with questions because you both are dropping so much great information. And we didn't get to half of what we wanted to talk about because you're dropping so much great information. So I do want to pause us here and talk about Honky Tonk and healthcare. So, Kris, you're the one that brought that to our attention. Tell me what those two have in common and what are you providing? And I also want to highlight the fact that you said for people to pay for a business coach. So this kind
Yeah.
of leads into what you're providing. Not that you're providing a business coach with this masterclass, but you kind of are in a little bit of a format. Tell us about that. How did
We
that
are.
idea come up?
So the honky tonk, I don't know. I've never been to Nashville and I don't like country. So I'm like, hey, how can we kind of have some fun? So that's where the honky tonk healthcare came through. I actually used ChatGPT to throw ideas out and stuff. And I'm like, okay, what can we do? Now, my first master class, some of those people are on here, which is great. My first master class was really it was not for brand new ACA. It was more of an in-depth and dive into really getting into it. This one is going to be some of that, but it's also going to be a lot of the questions that you're asking about agency building. Brandon started with downlines. I don't have downlines. I have a few, but I didn't start that way. So he's going to share a little bit about what that means. And I will tell you, a lot of the times what we can tell you is not how to do it. We can tell you what not to do, right? This is what does not work, right? And what we've learned. And he's got downlines. That is one way you can build a book of business without having to hire somebody, without having to know what the Department of Labor says, without having to have W-2s. Maybe that's your way. I built an agency because I was so swamped, I couldn't take one more client. And I went, all right, I either need to become exclusive in my area, and I'm only taking 100 new people a year, or I need to build a business. And so mine's always been brick and mortar. My clients, 98% of them walk into our office and meet with an agent face to face. I don't sell in all the different states. I sell in Arizona and Florida because Wisconsinites go to Arizona and Florida. They wanted us to go with. I have licenses in a random couple other states, but the reason why was mostly Arizona, Florida, and Texas because Wisconsinites don't like the cold. Sometimes we got our snowbirds. And so I am very much about protecting the community, and I am about heart-centered stuff, which can also mean I exhaust myself because it's not a business transaction for me. Open enrollment is not a business transaction. Open enrollment is me taking care of my community, me taking care of my clients. And you hear their sob stories and the things that are happening to them and all that stuff. They come into my office. I actually pray for anybody who tells me what's happening with them medically before they leave. I've never had anyone say no. But it's exhausting because I'm taking care of them. But that's also why I love this job, because I'm taking care of them. So that's kind of where the ACA Academy came from. That's where the master class. This one's going to be much more deep. It's not like here's ACA and the deep dive into ACA. You should have a deep dive into ACA before you come. This is the next step. Whether it's next step solo, okay, you said diversify. What is that? I got some ideas you're going to be like, oh, I never thought of. I got some exciting stuff. And then do I tell them what I'm giving anybody who signs up that comes? Chef. Okay. So I've had somebody ask if there's a discount. There is not a discount, but what there is everybody who signs up for the Nashville ACA Masterclass is getting my ACA Academy, which is $800. They're getting a coupon to have it for free, either for themselves or guess what? You can hand it to the agent you just hired. You can use that coupon to give it to them and have them train and stuff. So anybody who signs up, even the people that have already done it, are going to get a coupon specifically to go into the ACA Academy and get the modules, the whole kit and caboodle, which is right now retail $800. So that's my ad to anybody who signs up for the masterclass. And I wanted to bring Brandon on because Brandon and I have met in person a few times now, and we've done, some of you know, we did a collaboration right before open enrollment where we had a webinar every night, talked about, was it 7, 8? Kind of a blur now, 10 different topics.
The whole month of September.
Yeah, they were supposed to be an hour long, and I think most of them were like 2 hours because there were so many questions and things to share. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring Brandon too, because he's got a different, like I said, he's got it from a different perspective because he started with downlines, and that's a totally different model to do, you know?
Yeah. And my passion is more for agents and just helping agents succeed in this business, because it's not an easy business. And like for many years, I was all about the client. I knew them by name. There's still everything, their whole situation, I remembered them year after year. Like, oh yeah, this is what's going on with them just by the mention of it. So I knew my clients, but it's like I've pivoted more in recent years to focusing on the agent community, because this is a tough business and we face a lot of challenges from all sides, carriers, clients, of course. We're fighting the systems, the application process. There's so many things that it's an uphill battle. And so it's just the education, the knowledge, just knowing this stuff that helps you make more sales and not walk away from business, but also helping people get the coverage that they do need. Even if it's outside of open enrollment, like there's still plenty of opportunity. And so just discussing that, of what opportunity we still truly have outside of open enrollment to just keep growing our business, is so important.
I'm going to give you some stuff that's going to keep you busy. I'm telling you, like, there's some stuff.
Absolutely. Kris, I know you hosted your first retreat with us not that long ago. So what's been the experience or been the feedback from the guests that have attended? I know you mentioned a few of them. I think a few of them are here today, so we can definitely bring them up if they'd like to. But then what has the feedback been to you? Because like you talked about, you have a brick and mortar agency. You're used to people coming in person. Very different than possibly Brandon's agency. But when you bring people together in person, it changes the dynamics
Yep.
completely. So how is this, not only talk about the feedback, but then also talk about how this is different than a traditional sales conference or a traditional training event that you would attend in this type of space? Because let me tell you, I used to be a financial advisor, and this type of a masterclass didn't exist when I was in the industry.
And you've all seen them. There's conferences, Medicarian emails are coming in right now. I don't know how many of you have been to Medicarians. It's ginormous. It's huge. And I don't know how many one-to-one stuff. And I felt like 90% of the seminars was sales. The expert of something was standing there, but then they were only talking about their way of doing it. And I'm like, that's not helping me. I'm not going to use your way. So the master class is definitely one-on-one. You're going to have more intimate knowledge. You're going to sit there. Your phone gets put down, the computer gets down. Brandon and I did our class and it was good, but you still can't really, you have that email that's popping up that you're like, oh, I got to do that really quick. You have the chat. There's nothing like being in person. There just isn't. In person is more, you can look me in the eyes when I'm saying something. I can look you, I can see that I'm saying something and you're going, huh? No, I don't quite get that. Or aha, the light bulb moments, right? And we can build on that. This is more intimate. There's not hundreds. This is small. That's why there's limited time, because I don't want 100 people there. I don't even want 50 there. No, I want to have this small community. And what's really fun, and Colleen has seen this, we use WhatsApp because one of the people that is part of the We group is in Australia. So she set up a WhatsApp account for everybody in the master class. And I'd say half of us are still in the same thing. We built this nice little community of people from the first masterclass that they've been asking ideas. Hey, by the way, is anyone here in this state? I've got a lead for you. Or I'm wondering, am I thinking right with this? This is what I'm thinking. So it's become like this great community, which the Australian lady, she's like, I've learned so much about your health insurance, because she can't leave that group because she's the one who made it. So she leaves, it'll go away. And she's like, I have learned so much from you guys, just you guys feeding back to each other and explaining things. So you're going to meet some friends, you're going to get together, you're going to know other people in this industry. And I will tell you right now, there's no such thing as competitors. If every client had an agent, we'd all have about 10,000 clients. There is plenty of business. So you're not going to come in and you could be in the same town and you're not going to have a competition. There is enough business for everybody. And even in my own town, in fact, somebody sells ACA, and they have taken some of our clients and we've taken some of theirs, and they really focused on Medicare. They sent somebody to me, and I went out there and found out they don't know ACA like me. In fact, I think they sign up for my monthly classes, and I'm actually going to go out them. These people are now my clients, but I found something that they didn't know. So I'm meeting with them next week. We're having coffee, and I'm going to share this with them, because it's about the community. It's not about, I need to keep every client. So that's what this is. Masterclass is about community and each other, helping each other. And you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to go away with a brain full of stuff and go, whoa, which is why having a nice community what was it that Brandon said? What was that Kris said? And we had a lot of fun, because last time it was all spy stuff. So they all got spy coins that had little drives in them. Like, we had a lot of fun. So it's going to be fun. Honky Tonk. I mean, come on. I just called it Honky Tonk. If that doesn't say we're going to have some fun, I don't know what does. We're definitely going to have some fun. And there's going to be some surprises that you are not expecting. Wouldn't you say, Colleen was there. We had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. And like I mentioned, I used to be a financial advisor. I've been to the stuffy conferences that Kris described when she came to me and said, I don't want to do that. I want to do something completely different. And there's a lot of value when you get yourself out of your own element and you go into an environment that's visually stunning too. That's what really worked as well in Milwaukee. We were in a cool space, not only in the physical space we were in to learn. We were not in a stuffy conference room with cement walls. We were in a beautiful co-working space that allowed us tons of space to spread out, to interact, to be able to do our own thing. But then the evenings we spent in one of the most gorgeous hotels in Milwaukee, and such a great experience, plenty of time to digest the information, to connect with others. So it's not education, education, education from morning till nighttime. And then you're so exhausted, you can't do anything but go back to the room and sleep. This is more like, hey, Kris and Brandon are going to give you chunks of information, but we're going to also integrate experiences as well. We've got a welcome dinner. We've got an actual tour of Jack White's Third Man Records. That is not country. If you know who Jack White is, he is not country, but it's right there in the middle of Midtown Nashville where we'll be. So what a great opportunity to do something totally different out of your element. And really, that's where we see that the experience really just really takes it to the next level. Like Kris mentioned, you're around people that become now your partners and your
Community.
biggest supporters, your community, but you're also learning and growing together. Very safe space and such an incredible experience.
I don't know if anybody's watching the chats. I thought it was funny. Serena says she's still in there. Yep, there's a lot of us. We're still in that group. So what? It'll be another group. And yeah, we're gonna go. We get to do some touring, which I'm so excited because I've never been to Nashville. So I was like, let's do something fun. If there is something that, if there's questions you guys want to know about, you can certainly send either Colleen, who is going to send you out the email, the recording. You can register, click that button I think you put the registration button in there. Registration is going to close soon, so kind of get it. But like I said, everybody who does it's going to get a free coupon for the $800 ACA Academy, and it's ACA 101 all the way through. It's a lifetime totally access. There we go. I totally blinked on the word there. Lifetime access. And next week I will be doing updates for 2026 on there. Everybody's already had it. They instantly get those because there's been a lot of changes. So it's still relevant, but there's gonna be, hey, updates, modules, things like that. So I'm really excited. And I'm really excited to share this with Brandon. I think this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, Brandon, we didn't ask if you've ever been to Nashville, but you're coming to Nashville. So excited.
I've driven through, I think, but never visited.
In fact, I'm
Awesome.
staying a couple extra days. So, because I've never been there. I'm not jumping in and leaving. I'm going to come and stay in a couple extra days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What an amazing presentation. I know there's a couple comments in the chat. Can we get part 2? This is how much these expert agency powerhouses deliver. So much information in such a short period of time for such amazing, amazing service that you provide. Like Kris mentioned, you both provide not only health insurance and solutions for financial needs for people, but you do it with heart. You do it with strategy and you do it with results. And you do it the right way. So I love that you're helping educate other agents and how to be successful. I am so honored that you spent this time with us here today. So thank you so much for everybody for being here, and definitely take advantage of this in-person masterclass. What a great time to regroup. What a great time to just get back into that positive spirit about what the opportunity is out there. Because even though it was a brutal open enrollment, it sounds like for many, and that things are still uncertain, there is still positive that can be taken from this and still ways that you can set your agency up for success. So join us in person in Nashville. Come have fun. Like Kris said, it is a blast, and Brandon hasn't been through that experience, but we'll make sure that we integrate all the fun with Brandon as well. And we would love to see you in Nashville. Final words,
Thanks
Kris?
again, everybody. I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody who hopped on. That was really taking time out of your day to come talk to us and stare at us. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Hope to see you in Nashville.
Thank you, everyone.